so they sent me some free books. I got some books to donate. Please go and visit Post Press. They got all the stuff in our genres. They got really cool library of genres. Amazing books and stuff. Oh, I wanted to tell Dan Amblin said hi. Dan Amblin now is the creative director at Jim Beam Whiskey in Chicago. I said, how do you get that gig? You know, that's pretty good. So, yeah, he's in charge of all the video, photography, and marketing at Jim Beam America. So, which I guess is a German company now. I don't know. Ballistic Press. How many people know who Ballistic Press is? I'll remind you.
You remember when you used to
Wait, I should take it out of the box. It's much more groovy when you show.
Really?
When I show it to you, you guys go, oh, that's Ballistic Press. Ready? Watch.
Oh!
That's Ballistic Press. Out of Australia. They're from Australia. Australia. And they're sending me another box. But this is all I had left from the last box, which lasted a whole year. They sent me 200 because these are awesome. They're so inspiring just to look through, and you feel so inadequate at first, and then you go, I can do this. And if you can get to that point, you're good. If you don't, then just quit and stop coming to the meeting. Dave Pollock and Burroughs, thank you for bringing some chips tonight. Thank you again. And anyone else who brought munchies tonight, thank you very much for us, who probably skipped dinner to come here. So that's nice. Join SemaFX. It's really cool. All of our meetings are free. You can always come, no pressure. But it really helps me to do stuff like next time I won't have to have people necessarily bring munchies if I can pay for it myself. And it's $35 for a whole year. And like I said to someone here, it's thousands and thousands of untold benefits that you get for being a member. And there are actually a few that we actually tell you about. So do it, join it, feel good about it. It's a great cause because there are worse ways to spend your money. You always go down to the casino and double your money, right? Yeah. Never happens. Oh, Substance. You guys, how many people here have heard of Substance? I know these guys have. I haven't installed it. Did you install it yet? What? I gave it to you last Christmas. I gave you the coupon. Oh, I called Alex at Allegro Rhythmic, the company in France that makes this amazing looking software. And he said, nobody's contacted me from the Christmas giveaway. So whoever you are, go call Alex or email Alex. I put it right on the coupon to get your free copy that you won of this $300 Substance maker.
It's really cool.
It's like this.
It's like a physically based shading program. Like you got like a fire hydrant. You want to put like rust on it or rain or weathering. You actually fire like a particle system at it, and it weathers it and paints the texture on it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm giving one away tonight. Yeah. And it works natively with Unity.
Give it to me. Oh, wow.
It's built in.
It was an Unreal Engine. They just moved it.
I don't know. Yeah. Because I asked her, do you have a special one for Unity? He goes, it just works with Unity. There's no special one. It's made for Unity. So if you guys are out there doing Unity work, this is like becoming one of the top little tools you want to have to get the photorealism that you want on your 3D model. So turn your little triangles and quads into like real looking things with the Substance packs from Allegro Rhythmic, who are one of our official sponsors. Did you know that along with Smith Micro and Allegro Rhythmic, we have Specs Howard, we have Autodesk, Adobe's in talks with Adobe, but they're really so big now they don't talk to anybody. You can't hear them from Mount Olympus. So, but I am talking to the right people apparently. So they just haven't gotten back to me. Digital tutors, and by the way, if you have noticed, they just announced some special 72-hour window where you can watch anything you want for free. So take advantage of that. That's kind of cool. I also gave somebody away. Did you ever get it? Did you get it?
4 months of free.
4 months of free library. Digital Tutors is a sponsor. Focal Press I mentioned. Redford Theater I mentioned. Stage 3. Everyone's been here to Stage 3. If you haven't, you will someday because we're definitely going back there often. They're great. The Dovetail, which we had our Christmas party at. We also got Tool Farm and Red Giant. If you guys have not been to the Red Giant website, yeah, they sell stuff. If you're not in the market, go there just to watch their films that they make. The films that they make to highlight their tools are hilarious and amazing. you're shaking your head, yes, you've seen them.
I haven't been there in a while, but yeah.
Oh, man, there's one called Plot Device that is just unbelievable. It's so funny. And again, they make them just say, how can we showcase this plugin? How can we make this plugin shine? Let's show them what this plugin does. And they make a whole movie around it. And the one about the quarter, the spy, Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Spy versus Spy
Yeah.
is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And it's just made as a sales tool. These guys made it as a sales tool. So definitely go to Red Giant and look at their films. Just go to Red Giant Films. I was thinking of making a whole animation festival or a film festival for us, just showing their films, because they were so entertaining. It would just make it so, it would be the whole core of the event. So anyway, we have other stuff, well, other sponsors all the time. Also, like I said, our event, our core, our venue sponsors, like here and Stage 3, and anyone else who wants to host us. This is a pretty good crowd. So any place that could hold this many people, or maybe a few more, that's what I'm looking for. A couple people already stepped up tonight and said, hey, we'll host a meeting, we'll host one. So like I said, I think we got the next 2 or 3 months, we got Grand Rapids, and then we got the whole summer and next fall to worry about. So let's get it booked so everyone can put it on their calendar. And I'm gonna stop talking now, because I'm so excited because we're in the new era. And I wanna introduce Lisa Zahadny, just to give a little blurb about the school.
Oh, yeah, just
So I was
real
getting
quick, I know you
sponsored
guys
moment,
are wanting to
sponsor
get
spotlight.
to Jim. One quick thing I think I neglected to tell you, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm going on live television next week, so you guys are gonna get the jump start. We're giving away $4,500 scholarships for our 45th anniversary, which is this year. So if you know of anyone who's interested in going to our programs, graphic design, digital media, or broadcast media arts, we have 3 of them. They're 12 months long. They're a hybrid of online and on ground. If you know anybody who is interested in that, please see admissions right away, because once I go on live television next week, they will go fast. It's first come, first serve, and you have to live in Michigan, and it's for people who work at a Michigan business, and all of our regs are online, but if you check out our website for the Michigan Business Scholarship, it'll give you all the regs. But I'm happy you can all be here. I'm gonna keep it really short, because I know Jim's got a presentation he wants to get to, so thanks for coming.
You guys are on inside track on what's going on in the industry, just by coming to this meeting. And you get to see Joe's little friends. All right, without further ado, let's please welcome Jim O'Donnell of,
Jackson Dawson Communications, and also non-linear creative.
yes.
So I've got non-linear creative.
We talked about this like 2 or 3 months ago about this happening, and it's happening. When that happens, that's so cool, because a lot of those things don't happen that way. So, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to this presentation. Go.
All right. Good evening. Thank you everyone for coming out. I know some of you have met some of you guys at some of the meetings and at other meetings, and the rest of you welcome for coming out. Yeah, as I said, my name is Jim O'Donnell. I work at Jackson Dawson Communications. They are a former client of mine. I just took a full-time position there this summer. I freelanced for them as an avid video editor for many, many years. I started doing that back in '94 and kind of graduated from that into the Final Cut Pro and Premiere. I did that for a very long time. Worked at a place called Forest Post Productions, which some of you know and remember. They are no longer around. It's sad. But anyway, really wanted to get to the point of tonight's talk, which is Unity. I love Unity. I work in it every day. I spend a lot of time working in it even when I'm not at work. I work on it, like I said, I kind of moonlight at home doing some personal projects. I have taken this laptop with me on vacation, which my wife is thrilled about often, because I'll just poke around and do stuff on the side. Kind of a Unity nut that way. And I'm going to show you some demonstrations and some demos of some things we've put together, and kind of tell you a little bit why I love it so much. Let's pass that up. All right, so basically, you know, like I said, my background is that I came from an film and editing background, and 2008 happened, and hit everybody kind of the same way. I spent a couple of months sitting on the couch playing video games and not going to work, cold calling some of my clients, and everybody was slow and dead. So in January of '09, I went back to school. I went to a place called IADT, the International Academy of Design and Technology. They were out of Troy. The school is currently in Teach Out, which is also kind of a bummer, but you get a lot of a lot of great knowledge out of that school. Again, because of my background, I really was expecting that I was going to go into the school and come out a 3D modeler and or animator. That was something I was really into. didn't have any interest in coding at all. And I often said, like, no one's ever gonna hire me to do anything like this because it's far above my head. But I had a teacher who didn't give up on me, even though I had given up, and he saw something that I didn't push me, and one day a light went on. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. That was ActionScript with Flash, but once Unity came along in JavaScript, I was like, all right, I can do this. So what is Unity? I just typed that into Google, and the answer I got back was, Unity 3D is a powerful cross-platform 3D engine and a user-friendly development environment. Easy enough for the beginner and powerful enough for the expert, Unity should interest anybody who wants to easily create 3D games and applications for mobile, desktop, the web, and consoles. And I really like that definition because when I first started using it, everybody called it a game engine. And I mean, that's what it is at its heart. It's a game engine, and I got a lot of little games and stuff that we've made. But from the first time I got my hands on it, I was like, wow, this can do so much more. And why aren't people using this to build apps and training and all the things that we do in this town? I just always thought it was so much more than just a game engine. Okay, all right, we talked about that. All right, so I'm gonna start showing a demo here of something. While this is loading up, I just want to do a quick little talk about 3D. How many of you guys remember Luxo Jr.? Anybody remember that? That was 1986. For those of you that don't remember, it's the little Tensorland Pixar animation where the baby, father and the baby Tensorland pop a little ball and all that kind of stuff. 3D's been around for a long time. That wasn't even the first animated 3D thing that we saw, but it was really iconic, and we all kind of remember that. So it's not new. But kind of going to what Scott said earlier, we are in a renaissance right now because that was something you only saw on the big screen. You only saw it in films and movies, and took tons and tons of people to make that happen. Well, now we're all walking around with these things, and we've got 3D in our pocket and everywhere we go now, and so it's sort of enjoying this new renaissance of being able to visualize things and gaming and entertainment, education, all that kind of stuff. And that's pretty amazing. This has only been around since 2007, and like just the explosion of devices and apps and things that we're seeing on these devices now it's just amazing, and things that are coming in the coming years and months are, like I said, we're in a renaissance with that. Let's see, is this actually working? Not yet. Basically, one of the biggest things that I think, biggest strengths of Unity is this. Came back on? All right. I put a little rough demo together, but this is what I want to show you guys first. This little window right here. Can everybody see this? You might want to kill the light. There you go. So this little area right here, this is my build settings window. Incidentally, I'm giving kind of a high-level talk on this. I could spend an entire night talking about any one aspect of Unity. It's an extremely deep program, so I'm going to really try and keep it as high level as possible. So you see here I've got web player, PC, Mac, and Linux standalone, iOS, Android, there's more, BlackBerry, Flash, Xbox, 360 in one, PlayStation, all of these, you can build out to all of these. And what I've put together here is in this little environment on animation testing, so I've got a simple environment. It's very dark because I have a nighttime skybox on it, but so here, I've got like this little room. Put a little room, I put some lights in there and just some primitive objects. And when we simulate this scene in Unity, in Unity, it's just a simple first-person perspective, and I can walk through it. Nothing too exciting, but you get this idea of space and shadow and light and all that kind of stuff. And what I have already done to prepare for this is I built out a web player, a Mac player, a PC player, an iOS, and an Android player. So basically, I go to my multi-platform demo and let's go to web first. It generates this Unity file, which is the sort of the data file, and then an HTML file. So I double click this, so it launches Safari. Obviously I'm on a Mac here, and here's that same build now as an HTML player. And this will run on Mac or PC or Linux for that matter. It's got a a browser that supports this. So here's the same demo on Mac. It's a standalone app. Actually have a space bar triggering that door on this one too. And of course there's PC, and I'm going to show you iOS and Android. You can actually hit that light again, please.
Is the sheet still going around? Could everyone sign in, please? Make sure that sheet keeps going around. Thanks.
Is this a sheet?
So there's one fundamental difference between iOS and Android, the mobile builds, is you'll notice I got these controller schemes down in here now. Because I don't have a keyboard hooked up to this, and we typically don't hook up keyboards. I mean, I know there are keyboards, and that would still work in this build. So I've got, a little mobile scheme going here to control this, but it's very video game-ish, and I have full control. Putting these in, this was a package found on the asset store called Touch, and so there is a built-in mobile control scheme for Unity, but as is often the case, I find a lot of things in the asset store that I like a lot better. And this scheme is really, really easy. But there it is on an iPad. It's on my phone. It's also on an Android device. I don't need to show all those right now. You guys pretty much get the idea.
So you did it once and then you just publish it in all different?
I did. I made that build in 10 minutes or whatever. It's all just primitive shapes, and within an hour I had it on all these different platforms basically. So it's pretty powerful that way. So, I mean, I don't want to go too much more into that one particular demo, but I have a lot of other stuff to show you guys. One of the things that I've been doing for my wife's company, she works for Avanti Press, they're the greeting card downtown. But for pre-visualization, they built a trade show booth. And I did the same kind of thing. Here's the control scheme. You can actually walk all the way around the booth. And I've got two different booths in there. So here's version 2, here's version 1. There's different modes. I hit this mode button. Now I'm on a top down so they can look into the booth. And then mode 3, this is, everybody loves this. This little script has gotten so much mileage. It's called camera orbit, mouse orbit. And we use it on everything, and we're so familiar with this on our iPad. It's lost the game controllers because some people have a really hard time navigating in the environment with that. So I just did the mouse orbit. It's got pinch zoom, and you can also take stills. So now that still went to my gallery nicely. So as a previs tool, it's great. Like, here's what your golf course is going to look like, or here's what your booth is going to look like, or whatever you want to previs to mock stuff up in this kind of environment is really, really pretty fantastic. Let's see, where should I go from here? So we have a lot of demos. This is a good example of some shaders. Somebody mentioned Shader Forge before. So we designed car paint shaders using Shader Forge on this. So this was just a demo of a Mustang. We found this Model Turbo Squid. You can change the colors basically. But what I really like about this demo is if you go in close to that sheet metal, it not only reflects but it's dynamic. Like if you look, you can see the road actually rolling by. So that reflection map is actually updating on every frame. And it's got a couple of nice video effects and everything. Nice little sun flare. And, this build is actually really interesting because the car itself is not moving, other than the wheels, which are animated. There is a 360-degree sky sphere, which makes up the sky and the far-off background. And the landscape, the rolling landscape, is tiled squares that basically they create themselves up there, and then they destroy themselves back there. So it's like a treadmill that never ends. They just continue to roll and roll and roll forever. And that's basically all this demo does. We were pitching that to Ford, basically. I'm not finished the work. It is where it is at this point. This one was for Lincoln. Made a custom splash screen, just a simple camera animation. Here again, this one really demonstrates some of the nice advanced shaders that we've been playing around with. The reflection on the sheet metal is really, really good. But this app demonstrates more UI. So you can go in, it's like a checklist. We can say, you know, some of these are green, some are red, some are yellow. And then the car reveals. And those all kind of go with it. And then you can ultimately you'll be able to take a deeper dive into front brakes and load and go to our next scene. And so now we're looking at our front brakes and we can explode that. And then, all right, well, let's put a green box around there. Let's put a there and there. So it's a tool for sales technicians, at least that's how we're sort of pitching it. But all done in Unity. It's really helpful to have talented modelers, that's for sure. Because some of this stuff can be, you know, we end up waiting for some of this stuff to get done quite a while sometimes. Let's see, what else? Lincoln Ballroom, here's another great example of some pre-visualization. The room is not the most gorgeous looking room. So this is two examples. I just have a simple camera fly through in this one. It's joking a little bit. We get kind of a little crazy with shaders and glass and stuff like that in here. And then, of course, screen mode, which you guys have already seen. The control scheme and to move through the whole environment. And let's see. Augmented reality, anyone? Let's see. So Avanti, let's go back to Avanti here real quick. I'm trying to get in over there for a long time. Again, my wife works there. And just been trying to get in with some of the folks. One of the biggest drawbacks of augmented reality that I've encountered testing it and demoing it and showing it to a lot of people is that first step. Oh, I gotta print something out first? Like, everybody hates that. And so I kind of latched onto that, and it's like, well, the greeting card industry prints up millions of these things and sends them out all over the place. Like, they have eliminated that step. So what better industry than to incorporate an augmented reality app? So we built this. We've got our cast of characters. It's only a handful of these cards, and I'm just going to show you a couple of them right here. So she shows up in 3D. You can scale her up and down, and you can take a picture of her with other people in there, assuming I don't lose the image. But yeah, a bunch of these, they all do a little something a little different. He's inverted there. This one was a lot of fun to work on. This one guy. I'm sure the Christmas ones are the newest. They're my favorite. So over the evolution of this project, so many changes have happened, and the whole UI system inside of Unity changed. It's kind of cool. And things have been improved, like greatly improved. And you get far enough on in a project, and then everything's changing. So it's like, well, do I either patch my existing project and kind of get things working, or do I go back to square one and start from scratch? This one is a little bit of both. This guy was kind of cool. He pops out, but there's also snow falling on the table. And then lastly, this guy. This one's kind of cute. Yeah, that one was really fun to work on. And then some of you have seen this one. This one is in sad need of another update. But I did this one about a year ago. This is available in the App Store. I'm just going to go right into it. So I really wanted this to be, like an example of an education app that can be built in Unity. So we'll zoom over here to Earth. Take a deeper dive. and then there's no.
Oh,
You built this all yourself, or is this by the team?
No, I built this all myself.
How much time did it take? Guessing
Several months. Better part of a year, but I didn't work on it the entire time throughout a year. Yeah, obviously I have a couple of small things that I need to address, but I got busy at work. The sun's kind of cool. This is another example of shaders. I don't know if I used shader forge on this one or not. I think I may have used Strumpy. But it's a fun one. But all the code for those little things on the side are this tiny. I really liked the slice thing open mechanic. That was something I really wanted to have in there. So that's a couple of examples of some of the stuff that we've done at work and some of the personal projects that I've worked on. But there's more. Unity also. How many of you guys have heard of Google Cardboard? All right. Well, you get a chance to check that out tonight too. Oculus Rift. Yeah, I'm not surprised more people have heard of Oculus Rift. Have you guys tried Oculus? Those of you that have seen it? Yeah. It's pretty cool. I would love to show everybody. There's kind of a lot of us here tonight, so I encourage you guys to come up. I'll try and keep the talk a little shorter so you can actually experience some of this. It's a fully immersive 3D system. You go inside this mask and you've got some kind of virtual world, and it tracks your head live, basically. So you're completely immersed, and it takes up your entire field of vision, and it's very cool. We've been doing a lot of little demos and projects with that as well. Google Cardboard is the poor man's version of Oculus Rift. And it basically works with, this is what I love about it. I mean, Oculus is great because you're going to hook it up to a Mac or a PC, and you're going to get the full power of a graphics card. That's going to be working for that. This, you are limited to what's in here, but the great thing about this is I don't have to hook all this up to have that experience on my phone. I'll pass this around. I'll let you guys kind of check this out and find out one that's decent. Well, you saw the Mustang demo, so I'm going to do this one.
now is that one you made, that you assembled yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, I did. It's not all just me. I work with a really great team of folks. I do most of the putting together and the coding in Unity. I really don't do any modeling.
I meant the actual cardboard.
Oh, this?
You can.
Yeah, I mean, you can order these from Amazon. There's cheap Chinese knockoffs. This one's called Soyan. I really like this one better. Cardboard is, it's a piece of cardboard, basically, but this one actually kind of held up well. But I really liked this one. Yeah, since we're on, let you guys check this out.
How do you spell that, Jim? Soyan.
Soyan. Okay. All right, so just pass this around. Actually, let me turn this thing.
My wife's brain was one thing, polarization. One frame's like
Now,
this.
is this
one
a
frame's
stereoscopic
like this.
scene?
This is basically here. I'll try and let's do this real fast before I pass this around. This is what we're seeing on my phone, basically.
You're actually still. It's just.
It takes a left and a right eye, just like any stereoscopic thing you've seen. But now it's using the gyros and the accelerometers in my phone. So as I'm turning my head, it's looking around basically. And we made this app a hybrid basically. So it's like you don't have Google Cardboard and you want to have the experience, you double tap. Now it's just single screen, double tap again, and it's no longer accelerometer, but I can just do it with my finger basically. But it's a cool little, I mean, here again, we built all this in Unity. Building these is really, really easy. Assuming you have models and everything. There's prefabs for the stereoscopic camera. Just drop it in and go. It's really, really cool.
Silly question, how did you do a passing road? Just animated texture?
I've done that before. We're panning the texture, and we had a discussion in the office about that. I did not want to do that on this one because I wanted to see the topology of the land rolling by. So that was why we made it a little more advanced, but the payoff is better. There's more depth. What's that?
How did you end up doing it?
Well, there's a piece of code. They're basically instantiating new pieces of
Oh, okay, so
killing the old pieces of that. It's the same as that Mustang demo. I just removed a few assets and put a few other ones back in. I don't really know if you guys can see this. Let me hand this one. All right. I'd love to show you guys some Oculus stuff, but again, it's like, how are we gonna file that? You want to see something a little more interactive or like rolling video? I can show you some of the stuff on the screen. We can maybe start with that. Let me switch this out. I don't know how this is going to look without Oculus being plugged in. Yeah.
Oh, no. I'll be making excuses. No, man, he's for Bobby. That's your boy. He's laughing at me.
All right.
Quiet.
All right. So this was, I built this in an afternoon, kind of horsing around at work on a slow day. This control. Just really wanted to do something that was like sci-fi and space kind of game demo. So map's really easy to PlayStation controller or any, like an Xbox controller. And basically I've got speed, and when you've got this on, and you're looking all the way around, it goes wherever you look, basically. So it's a very interesting, fully immersive experience that you're, yeah, I found a model of the Enterprise, I put that on there. Total nerd fest, I know. But it's cool. I mean, I'll leave this open if some of you guys want to come up and kind of give it a whirl. We've been doing a lot of other things as well with Leap Motion. Are you guys familiar with that? Yep. This one? Came out a few years ago. Was not a really big successful thing. A lot of people kind of questioned what to do with it. And what we've been doing more recently is, I'm going to get on here. Leap Motion, for those of you who don't know, is a skeletal hand tracking system. So, and here again, there's a plugin, free plugin at Community Asset Store. You just fire it up, and right away, you drop in the prefab into the scene, and it recognizes your hands. It creates a full 3D model of it. Combining that with this bridges a gap that I often see whenever I see someone put this on for the first time. They're like doing this, they're reaching out, like, oh, whoa, where's my hands? There's a disconnect there. So we've been doing a lot of work to try and bridge that and actually bring yourself, like your virtual self, into the virtual world that you're experiencing. I have a couple of words on as well, but you guys have any questions so far? Everything kind of making sense? I know it's a lot of.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
You're using Unity 5?
I'm using Unity 4.6.
Okay.
We've been experimenting with 5 a little bit at work. There's a lot of cool things coming,
Yeah.
but it's buggy. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things in it that
Okay.
aren't ironed out yet. There's a thing in Unity 5 called WebGL Player, which is added to that list of all the builds. And really hoping that gets fixed soon. It's not real reliable, but when I build out like an HTML file here for web, and I go to it on my phone, it doesn't work at all. So WebGL is supposed to sort of bridge that gap, but as of right now, it isn't. There isn't one external build that is visible on all devices yet.
So, the shaders that you built, it's in Beast in 4.6, right?
Mhm.
And you're going to, in 5, it's a different shader, it's in a different engine, right?
It is. Beast is the lighting, light
Okay.
making, basically, but they are gonna be using a different shader engine in 5, basically.
So whatever you developed in 4 is, you have to scrap all those shaders?
Possibly, I don't know, I
Okay.
mean, so many shaders that I use come from different sources,
Mhm.
like sometimes they're written in shader board or Strumpy, or, we had a guy working for us for a little while, a freelance guy, who was writing shader code, like, just in the editor, and
Mhm.
that was all working. And one of those reflection maps is actually he wrote from scratch. So, shaders are a little more universal that way, but I guess the question then is how does Unity handle it? How's the new Unity gonna handle it?
Okay.
And, you know, we will find that out soon enough, basically. So.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
You don't have a demo with the hands? and
I
Oculus?
do actually. I can show you guys that real quick. Give me a moment to set that up. That's the one thing about
Pretty good.
Oculus and all these programs is
You
it
filming
requires
me?
external
I
power.
guess I know what
and
you can't release.
It's a lot of cables to hook up.
Oh,
Here's my-
I swear, like,
Wow.
games are gonna get so advanced.
Talk to the hand.
Oh, Elon Musk
really,
would
really
be
want this one to
dreaming over this.
That was a good shot.
Throws a card.
There's my little exploder.
There's a lot of Tony Stark.
This.
Iron Man 3 over here?
Yeah.
Old Tony Stark?
Yeah, really.
Bobby?
It looks like one more mirror.
It is. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I know Matt did.
there is a free version of Unity, and it works with most of these plugins. Like Oculus recently opened it up for us, so you can bring in Oculus plugins. The plugin we're using for this is called Durovis Dive. Google Cardboard makes one as well. They're all free. They're just packages in the asset store. You can download. The asset store is awesome. There's a lot. Most of the stuff that you kind of want to do getting started, you can do with the basic version of Unity. I've got Pro. That's with the dark. The basic version is like a lighter gray, and it just doesn't allow certain things like Pro effects, image effects, Pro water, Pro lighting. I don't think you can light bake in there in the free version, but you can rock and roll. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Vuforia, all the Vuforia plugins are free. They're not available in the asset store anymore, but you can get them through the Vuforia portal. And you can do all that augmented reality stuff with the free version. You just don't need anything special, anything above and beyond.
My challenge that I did in the free version.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot. I really like the lighting effects, and I kind of needed it for work, so I had to get the Pro version. When I bought it, it was, I think I got a deal because I was a student at the time. It was like $1,500, and then there was an additional $400 for an iOS license and like another $400 for Android. It's expensive to buy the full-on Pro version, but it's worth it. I mean, if you're able to have a job that pays for it, it's like.
Or you can get a job that pays for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm hoping that maybe you guys take away from tonight is that.
This is like a whole new market.
There's
that
so
people
much
don't even
more.
know that you would have it. They don't know they want it yet.
There's so much more that can be done, and I think that's exactly it. I don't think that the people with the big deep wallets in this town really know what to do with this yet. And I did want to show you guys one other thing. The Truth About Trucks display. This is something our group built. That's very Marty. Basically, we built this for Ford.
So they forget everything.
It's a. It's a kiosk. This is it. Automotive use this. Really proud of this. This is a good example of a company using Unity. What's going on here? Don't click it. Going to the site.
Oh, you just installed some software on your
I
computer.
guess I did. I lost my mouse arrow here.
Oh, wait. You just won.
Oh.
Yeah, this is it.
The see, feel, and touch aspect of obviously product presentation. But how do you get down there and show them what the subframe looks like? How do you show them the metallurgic compound?
Pretty experienced in launching new F-150s. It's not by accident that this is our third generation.
That's our display. That's the
By
top,
trucks this time. We can
monitor
update
of this
it
display.
much more readily than ever before, literally overnight. They have the
We've
ability
sold,
to.
I think, 2,800 of these now to Ford dealers all around North America.
Email it to themselves or their friends so they can share that excitement and their interest in the new truck with us.
One thing I saw the other show that was really blowing my mind was a 3D printer for a car. They were able to print a vehicle. And it was, you know, basically did these giant half-inch layers of this steel and plastic alloy. And then once it printed it, it rolled it into a machining system that would machine parts of it, and then they'd sand it and make a car out of it. So they're testing that and seeing all that material.
You know, here again, kind of like what I was saying about 3D before, 3D printing is not new. They're rapid prototyping and they have laser lithography. It's not new, but it's just now getting into the public.
You had to go through all the military stuff and all this other stuff.
Speaking of 3D printing, you guys, remember when a friend of yours got a cell phone? The first time one of your friends got a cell phone, you didn't have a cell phone, but a friend of yours got a cell phone? And now everyone has a cell phone?
Yeah.
Well, I know one of my best friends now has a 3D printer in
We
his
did
house.
this at a game.
Oh, wow.
You know, so the first person in the room here, how many people here have 3D printers in their bedroom?
I have it in my living room.
It's in your living room now? He moved it up to the coffee table.
Yeah.
Two of you, look around, guys, I'm telling you, when we come back next month or a year from now, a lot of hands are gonna go up, because 3D printers now are so cheap.
The kids are making them too, like there's
Yeah.
some down here. Some kids from Fair State are making their own 3D
But
printers.
the
It's amazing.
material.
We're gonna see a big
Get a
surge
couple
here.
clips off and
of
then a
things.
couple shots off.
Make parts for it.
Like get through all the metal.
There's a movie about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
There's a movie about that, about robots building robots.
Well, that one,
Solitaire?
all these robots.
Yeah, I bought
This is really
Something else that I thought was really cool. Kind of since we're on this subject of like all things 3D, this was a part we 3D printed on a MakerBot at work for GoPros. I was telling one of you guys about this earlier. I have to reprint it. It's got some weaknesses, but basically what this does is this holds 6 GoPros in it, and it sits on the camera plate here on this angle of the cube. So that's what it bolts to. I'm working with my dad to build a masthead, like an aluminum bar masthead, so you sit up high. And you run all the GoPros, you fire a clacker, so you got a sync point, and what you end up with is 360-degree spherical video.
Go to Q.com, they have one on the homepage about a bunch of sharks. They got a bunch of them.
Well, check this out. I mean, so there's a, you can do virtual environment, or you can do, and again, this is not a Unity thing, but so here's colors of the smoke, and like again, as an experience, you know, here I am in it now, looking around, and it's full on video rolling inside this thing.
It's all GoPro footage.
You didn't really.
Wait, does this stitch it together, what stitches it together?
There's another program that I've been using called, there's a suite of programs from a company in France. We did one called AutoPanel, and AutoPanel Giga is the program that actually stitches all the photos together, and then there's, we have a panel tour which does these fantastic, how do I have the link on here? Where are the sharks coming? It does this fantastic 360.
This guy's going too slow. Where's the
And they have one for videos, they have one for
One or the other.
I haven't actually used it yet. I got 5, I'm gonna test it with 6. They're not all one.
This was 6.
I'm guessing that this was 6 because I can look straight down the dog.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Hey, boy. Come on, come here. Dog's not listening.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to do. That's the thing.
Bad dog.
That's really good.
Now, I don't know if anyone has heard of, it's another one of these, Volvo, I don't have it on my phone because it was only available for a little while. Volvo did, I think, very recently for VR experience, Volvo Reality.
You know what? I'll go,
And
Matt.
it was a 3D model.
What should we do? What should we do? You know what? Whatever you want to do.
They mounted
It's fine.
Okay. They mounted
Let's just go dress as a dude in the car.
red cameras, 4K red cameras. There's $1 million worth of camera gear on this rig. They put it on top of a GoPro
Series, they have like
and they created a series way
kind of like a virtual reality room and everything, physics and all that.
So the app was
So that was pretty cool.
120 meg. It was bigger than what an app should be.
Man,
But it was
comes
just
out the
experience.
oil,
But then put these on. They branded cardboard as Volvo and sent it out. Like auto show is a big thing. They promoted the hell out of it, and you know, it's a free app, but basically it's just brand exposure, and it's, wow, this new experience, I've never seen this kind of thing before. People see this kind of thing for the first time, it's like, wow, that's really cool. Now what? You know, that's kind of the thing. What do we do with this stuff? And
Make movies.
make movies, make cool interactive experiences. I mean, I think that's what we're all doing here, is trying to figure out what the next thing is.
We got 16 minutes left.
What's that?
We have 16 minutes.
16
So
minutes.
if you want to do some people watching afterwards.
Does anyone want to come up and you guys want to try?
Anyone have any last questions before we go crazy and just walk around and mingle? What do you guys say? Let's hear it for Jim O'Donnell. You were in it, but you didn't know it.
I didn't know.
Now, this is the new era, because we're gonna kick ass and take names. If that's still, do people still say that? I'm so old, I don't know what's good, what's hip anymore. But that's because I've been doing this for 17 years. SemaFX started in 1998, the same quarter that my son was born, so I can kind of keep track of it. So I don't forget his birthday, and I don't forget when I started SemaFX. And a couple of the guys in the room here can stand up as like some of the people that were actually there in the first couple of months when we got it going. Where's Rich, by the way? Picture him here.
He's working on a nightmare job.
Nightmare job. Hope it pays well.
That means he's drinking.
Okay, well, Rich was one of the guys that I counted on being here to hold him up as an example of one of the, he's the guy really that him and I started it. And you know, he's like this silent partner who never talks about it, but he was there. And if it wasn't for him, if he didn't show up, it would have been a really lonely meeting. But we said, this first meeting, let's have it, because so much is going on with visual effects and animation. We didn't even call it visual effects back then, we call it movie magic. But there's so much going on. COSA, we had this thing called After Effects, and these tools were coming out so fast and furious, and we couldn't keep up. And I said, I'm reading all these magazines trying to keep up. And I said, I got an idea. I said, if you read a magazine and you read something that you think I'd like, you tell me, and I'll tell you if something, and then the two of us will know more than we would individually. And then it started becoming, hey, that works with jobs too. So if you have a job you can't do alone, you hire your friend. But how do you even know he's out there unless you meet him? And the whole idea of a user group like this actually started at a place called Slip Disc. Anyone Slip Disc? Oh yeah. Hey, see, the old people just raised their hand. Well, the old people that didn't raise their hand, shame on you.
My last one.
Slip Disc was started by the guys that sold Amiga computers over in Troy, and they had a little club where if you joined the club, you had access to all their software. And all these little drawers in the back against the wall full of floppy disks that you could pull out the software and take it home and install your computer, then bring the disk back and put it back in the library. It was amazing because at the time, no one ever did anything like that. So I took kind of that idea and another guy named Frank Zaccaro. Anyone Frank Zaccaro from Aerodata? One person. I thought Frank was coming tonight, but he's not here. That was kind of like the PC Autodesk side of the world, where Slip Disc was like the Amiga, Commodore, this brand new Sprite graphics thing that was starting back then, where you had 256 colors and things moved across the screen, and we were ecstatic. We were just blown away by what we could do with the Amiga computer. So that kind of grew into, later, SemaFX, which I kind of invite those same people back. We had a meeting, more people came, there were like 8 people for like 6 months. It was like 8 people showed up. And we grew and grew since then. And now it's 17 years later, we have, if you go to our meetup, you'll see we have like 187 members now in SemaFX, so that's good. And I want to welcome you to the new era, January 2015. Thank you to Lisa Zahadni here of Specs Howard School of Media Arts.
All right.
It's been around a long time too. I was going to say Specs has been around longer than us.
45 years this month, actually.
45
This year and
years.
this month.
This is a school that's kept up with the times, guys. They definitely have. I mean, they were doing it back when you had to learn how to replace the tubes in your radio. Now, look what they're doing these days, so it's really great. I also want to thank Abby back here for recording us and getting us some historical data, so in the future we can look back and say, look, I was there.
If you guys wanted to wave, I mean, it would look really cool.
Yeah, motion. Live. This is live action video. Thank you guys for being here, really.
Thank you.
Now, this year, I call it the Kicking Names and Kicking Ass Tour this year. We're already ahead to maybe April for events and for things going on. Next month, I can announce, we just got confirmed just before I got here, we're going to be on February 11th. We're going to be at the CCS in the Anderson Auditorium for the Electronic Arts program. Steve Stanchfield, historian extraordinaire, is going to give his lecture on the history of animation. He's the guy, when they're going to do some kind of DVD on the history of animation, they fly him in to do all the talking points behind, you know, when you turn on the audio. He's the audio that you turn on when you're listening to things about Tex Avery and Walter Lance and all the, you know, Ollie.
Stan Allen.
No. Frank, no. The animator from Disney, Ollie. The two guys that they had in Toy Story at the end go, that's old school. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's Frank and Allie.
Yeah, it was Frank and Ollie. You're right.
Yeah, I know that.
So, February 11th, mark your calendar. We'll be down at CCS in the Anderson Auditorium for Steve Stanchfield. But primarily we're there because there's a whole new generation of students down there that don't even know who we are. And they're your future workers. They're the guys that you're going to work with. They want to know you. So we're going to go down there and say hi to them and welcome to the community, kind of like, you know, like a coming out party or a bar mitzvah, you know, kind of thing, for animators. Yes. Whatever you call a bar mitzvah for animators, that's what it is. So, I know, is that, can I say it?
Yeah. You did.
These days, I don't know.
Got that on tape.
And March, I'm in talks with Tech Shop Detroit. How many people have been to Tech Shop Detroit? 3 of us. This place is one of those maker spaces where they have like 3D printers and CNC machine bays and auto bays where you can build cars and do, it's staggering, this place, it's really cool. They're gonna host us, depending on us getting it confirmed, but that's March. April or May now, it might be May, we do our annual trek to Grand Rapids and do a whole SemaFX West event. We got 2 Grand Rapids guys right here from Paris. And I just talked to Jake today. There's amazing things going on in Grand Rapids, guys. I mean, it is like really, we are in trouble of them stealing our thunder, I'm telling you, because they are going crazy there with just the arts community alone. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to weasel my way in so all of us are like at the forefront of the digital arts, because they got all the, you know, art prize, they got all the sculpture and the painters and the performance artists. They got all that. That's all Austin, Texas, you know. But we are going to be like the Silicon Valley in Grand Rapids. They're going to be like the guys they think about, SemaFX, when they talk about the digital movement in Grand Rapids, okay? I'm going to steal it. I need help with that, by the way. Anyone wants to volunteer? Looking for sponsors, looking for speakers, things like that. Because we have a mini trade show there. It's going to be like the Creative Congress. That's what we're creating in Grand Rapids, where you go and you invite everyone from every art scene to be there and have a table. And you go around and meet everybody and see everything going on in Grand Rapids. It's really going to be cool. Just to give a word, did anyone bring a Double Dog Dare You challenge tonight? One. You're keeping it alive, buddy. Keeping it alive. We also had a submission. Larry sent one in to me, but I don't have any way to show it. Beautiful, beautiful. It's okay. We don't judge. We don't judge here. You're a very friendly crowd here. If you ever want to bring your stuff to share, that's how we started. You bring your stuff to share here. We're not going to be judgmental. We're going to ask you, hey, how'd you do that? And that's really cool. And we're very, very, very friendly here. So definitely show your stuff here. And if it isn't at the meeting, do it online. You know, share it on the Facebook page. And how many people here are following the Twitter feed? Okay, that's a problem. That shows my depth of knowledge of how Twitter works. But if you go to SemaFX Network, at SemaFX Network, at SemaFX Network, that's our Twitter feed. So just go home tonight and click the follow button, and you'll see all my stuff that goes on there. Because anything I post on the Facebook page, somehow I figured it out, automatically gets posted on the Twitter, and vice versa. So if you see something on Twitter, it's probably on our Facebook page too. So please go and join, become a friend on Facebook, and become a follower on Twitter. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
So please do that, because that's how we keep the thing going in between meetings, okay? Really want you there. And I need as much as you guys want to contribute. I'm never going to say, would you stop contributing already? I'm not going to say that, I promise. All right, I want to thank our sponsors. Now, one of the things I do in the background is I go out and try to find sponsors. I haven't had much luck with everyone, but I'll tell you what, I'm pretty excited. Unity 3D came through with like gazillion pens. I got so many Unity pens, if you guys need a Unity pen. And they gave us these cool stickers, which you can put on, you know, your laptop, your firstborn child, your dog, whatever, your dog's dish, whatever you want. And make sure you do it right side up though, which is right side up.
Give me a stick.
This way.
Terrible.
Does anyone know?
Nobody like all the pens.
That's right, that's the
Okay, yeah.
Take the pens.
It's three-way symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter. As long as one point's down. Okay, guys? 1 point down. Say it, everybody, 1 point down. That's it.
Well, I kind of have sort of like.
Do what you want.
I did this.
Unity 3D, Smith Micro is donating a package of Poser 10 tonight to give away. How many people here have Poser? 1, 2. Okay, mine doesn't work, but they're working on it. Redford Theater is donating some tickets. Focal Press